There are an abundance.
So I don't know this creator Bluejay, but you guys are really recommended this video right now on chat. So uh, yeah, let's just watch it. I
Abundance of iconic combinations out there, like spaghetti and meatballs, a sorority girl in a white Jeep, or
I'm excited. You guys have been talking so good about this video that honestly I have like high
and
expectations.
alcoholism. But like US presidents and convertibles, not everything can be a match made in heaven.
Huh.
And as much as Mother Russia
Damn.
would love to dominate the high seas, nearly landlocked nations and stellar navies don't exactly go hand in hand. But for all the Russian Navy's dismal, underwhelming, pathetic lack of glory in the early 20th century,
my man going
it's always
after
important
Russia.
to look on the bright side. Like how it gives me good YouTube content. So on today's episode, I'm going to learn you all about the misadventures of the Russian Baltic Fleet.
Very funny video. Bluejay is really good.
It's the turn of the 20th century, and what better way to kick off a new era than
Expansion.
Russia is cold, which is great for things like stopping Nazis and badass TikToks, but not ideal for ports. Having your port turn to ice every winter is what those of us more versed in nautical terms would call not very cash money. The Russian Empire notices China has a pretty nifty port with, get this, warm water. However, there's this pesky little thing called a border in the way. But that's okay, China isn't European, it's not a real country, so Russia takes control and gets the ching to lease in the port. Japan doesn't like what they see, so they meet with Russia and are all like, hey, vodka boy, invading China is our thing. But Russia won't share, leaving diplomacy dead in the water. But that's okay, the new DLC just dropped and everyone's just itching to
Which,
try.
I mean, this wasn't unique to Russia, right? Most European countries were ignoring Japan at that time, and Japan did not like that. Russia, I guess, was the more
their new
unlucky
toys.
one.
So the Japanese attack Port Arthur, kicking off the russo-japanese war. Fast forward a few battles, and the Russians are losing pretty badly. So the Tsar authorizes quite the preposterous proposal of
Hey,
sending
Nicholas
the Russian
II.
Baltic fleet to reinforce the east. And
Which,
you may be wondering,
by the way, we didn't saw in the oversimplified video that Tsar Nicholas spent a few years on Japan. You know, interesting enough.
but
He had like a
Bluejay, what's so
tattoo, right?
preposterous about sending reinforcements? Well, kiddo, the Baltic part of Russian Baltic fleet means it operates in, get this, the Baltic. And as we learned earlier, boats don't like ice, so you can't go this way to Port Arthur, meaning the Tsar authorized a plan for an 18,000-mile journey around the world, which is 29,000 kilometers, or 1,140,480,000 gumballs. The voyage was also a logistical nightmare, as the Russians didn't have any holdings in Africa or South Asia to refuel along the way. Add that to the fact that the fleet spent months at a time frozen in port, so the crew of mostly uneducated peasants couldn't tell you the difference between a bowline knot and a porcelain pot. This group of inexperienced conscripts is put under the command of Admiral Rozhetsvensky, a man so
Yeah, the
prone to
Tsar with
anger
the
that his
dragon
staff made sure to
tattoo.
keep a large supply of binoculars at the ready due to how often he would throw them overboard. But hey,
Yeah,
fuck
hold
it,
up.
what-
Let's take a look at the tattoo, you know? Do we have a photo? Yeah, it was this one, right? It's a dragon tattoo. That's badass. Okay, hold up. There we go. You know, it looks decent. I wouldn't do that, but hey.
better way to learn than a trial by fire, right? So they set sail on their epic quest to turn the tide of the war and bring glory
Oh
to
boy,
the
this is not gonna
motherland.
be good.
And immediately the flagship runs aground and a cruiser loses its anchor. While they waited for the flagship to refloat, a destroyer forgot friendly fire was on and rammed into a battleship, prompting it to return for repairs. Don't worry, men, surely this can't be foreshadowing. As the fleet pushed on, a growing hysteria spread amongst the crew. They were afraid that at any second they'd be ambushed by Japanese torpedo boats. By Denmark. This is where the war is, if you forgot. But the crewmen didn't have time to
Wait, hold up. So basically the voyage is just starting and already like 3 things went wrong. Okay, well, yeah, foreshadowing. I guess that's right. Cool. He did it before millions of normies made it lame. True, right? Now it's like a very popular thing, but Tsar Nick and King George used to prank people by dressing up because they looked almost the same. Oh, dude, that's so cool. Fun fact, my brother and I used to do this in high school all the time.
worry about things as frivolous
Because
as
we look so
logic.
similar.
So when 2 fishermen approached the fleet to deliver a message, they opened
That's funny,
fire.
though.
The 2 fishermen survived the false alarm without a scratch thanks to the horrible standards of the Russian gunnery. As for their message, they informed Rear Admiral Rozhetsvensky that he had been promoted to Vice Admiral. I earned this. This wouldn't be the only false alarm, as later another ship signaled that she was under attack by 8 Japanese torpedo boats, only to find out that there were
Fisherman.
0 Japanese torpedo boats. There There was just nothing there. Having survived the Baltic, our heroes made their way towards Britain, where they encountered a small group of fishing trawlers at Dogger Bank. But surely by now our skittish sailors have learned their lesson. Ninjas! Streliate this bullshit! Chaos ensued as the Russians laid down hellfire upon the unsuspecting fishermen. The Russians are going bonkers. Some run around the deck aimlessly waving cutlasses to repel.
God damn, dude. Well, I mean, because they were maybe peasants or uneducated, right? Okay, hold up. Okay, you guys gave me already curiosity, so... Because I knew they were cousins, weren't they? Almost twins. The resemblance between Tsar Nicholas II of Russia and his cousin George V. They do look pretty similar, though. I mean... And also, the Kaiser Wilhelm was also their cousin, wasn't he? So there we go. They were all, what, the grandchildren of Queen Victoria? If I'm not mistaken. Or maybe I could be mistaken. There we go. Look. They are pretty fucking similar. Boom. Yeah, we would mix them up.
Imaginary boarding parties, while others just cuddle up on the deck with life jackets, accepting their demise.
Ha.
Keep it up, man. These Japanese have horrendous aim, Igor. We haven't even taken a hit. But hey, at least this time we made sure they weren't fishermen first. We're shooting at fishermen, aren't we? Definitely a possibility, sir. Well, at least we didn't fire on our own ships, killing a sailor and Russian Orthodox priest.
George V could have worked on that mustache, though. Yeah, true. I mean, Nicholas II probably was more fashionable, though. The tattoo, the mustache.
The British trawler fleet were sitting ducks as their nets in the water prevented a hasty escape, and the Russians fired at them for 20 minutes before realizing their mistake. While this sounds like the setup for a massacre, you forget our heroes are about as effective as a guy holding a fish on Tinder.
So they didn't survive,
one trawler and damaging 2 of their own ships. The battleship Oriole really captured the spirit of a TikTok pickup artist, reportedly shooting 500 shots without scoring a single hit. 2 fishermen and 2 Russians died in the mayhem, so at least the survivors can brag at the local pub that they tied with the Russian Navy. This event became known as the Dogger Bank incident and nearly ignited a war between Russia and Britain. The Brits just settled for revoking their access to the Suez Canal, forcing the Russians to make a slight tweak in their course. The slow, coal-powered fleet made its way towards Africa, attacking more civilians and cutting underwater telegraph cables along the way. They met up with some German supply ships to refuel due to the aforementioned lack of African holdings to make port. What nice friends, those Germans. I'm sure their relationship will last. Africa's pretty big, almost as big as my self-loathing, so they took on double loads of coal and kept giant piles of the stuff just sitting on deck. Definitely the kind of thing to land you an EPA audit. But it's not like any sailors were going to die from black lung, except for the ones who did. Morale is low, so the Russian crew decides to lift their spirits by treating themselves to the exotic pets of Madagascar. Alright, men, you all can... Hey, Igor, stop sniffing glue for a sec, buddy. You all can go to shore and pick out one thing to bring back with you. Nothing too crazy, like snakes or crocodiles.
Oh, boy.
What did I say? Sir, I can explain. Watch it throw back the shot at Tito's. The ship became a floating zoo as the crew brought on a bunch of animals to roam the deck freely, including a crocodile and a venomous snake, which apparently took a liking for vodka. Panic followed.
Yo. I thought that was a joke. Wow. I don't really know what to say. I mean, that's so fucking stupid, but it's funny as hell, so we might as well enjoy it. Hola, ¿qué tal, Paul?
Shortly, when the snake wrapped itself around guns and bit a commanding officer, one sailor gifted the admiral a parrot, which soon took after his rather extensive vocabulary of Russian curses. The flagship soon became overrun with chameleons who would frequently go missing due to their ability to seamlessly camouflage. Hey Igor, have you seen Conrad Camo? I can't find the little guy anywhere. No, I don't think so. Have you seen him, Private? Yeah, I don't think he's seen him either. But a good zoo isn't complete without an underwater exhibit. And luckily for them, the cooling plant on their refrigeration ship broke down, forcing them to dump all their meat into the ocean and giving them a nice following of sharks. At one point, the fleet was holding one of many funerals for a sailor who died of illness. During the ceremony, the Kamchatka fired a gun salute. Excellent work, gentlemen. Hey, say, you boys did make sure to load blanks, right? Yes, sir. Yeah. Igor, you're looking kinda pale there, buddy. After some more shenanigans, like foiling a mutiny and receiving a shipment of fur boots and coats instead of ammo, Admiral Rozhetsvensky realized that they were approaching Japan. Ah shit, that's right, I didn't train them. So he decided to run some gunnery practice on a stationary target. Miraculously, our group of misfits managed to score a single hit. On the ship towing the
On
target.
each other,
But hey,
yeah.
Potato, potato. At long last, the Baltic fleet closes in on Japan, approaching the Tsushima Strait during the night. The fleet extinguishes their lights to maintain stealth, all except for the Orel, which, as a hospital ship, kept them burning in accordance with the rules of war. The Orel comes upon a Japanese ship in the dark. And finally, after an extensive list of false alarms attacking fishermen and merchants alike across half of the high seas, they come across an actual Japanese vessel and determine it to be Russian. So they use their lights to communicate with it.
Hey, be careful for the other Russian vessels around me. We're sneaking up on the Japanese in the dark.
The Battle of Tsushima ensues.
Oh, no.
While our gallant sailors hold their own against the Japanese, the Baltic fleet was decimated. 4,000 Russians die, with an additional 7,300 taken prisoner, compared to roughly 100 Japanese deaths. This effectively ended the war, marking the first time in history that an Eastern power defeated a European one. Way to go, buddy. Let's add that one to the scoreboard. Oh dear. So, in conclusion, the Russian Baltic fleet's odyssey around the world is a tale full of shenanigans and blunders, with our troublemaking peasant crew racking up quite the body count of innocent civilians and friendlies before seeing an actual enemy. And yes, while they may have attacked ships from practically
and
every
getting
global
totally
power,
wrecked,
disabled
son.
cities' communication grids, killed fellow sailors with gross negligence of safety practices, nearly ignited a major European war, and were about as accurate as Helen Keller playing laser tag, they also taught a snake to drink vodka. 9 out of 10 stars.
What the hell? All right. Wow. That was... Okay, guys. That was so funny. The part of the snake. Yeah, the part of actually getting animals. How did they even got a crocodile from Madagascar to the boat? How is that even, like, logistically? Think about it. Do 2 or 3 people grab the alligator and then... the alligator did not fight back? And the snake taking a like for vodka. I mean, wow. Okay. I wonder if there's maybe not a book, maybe a book or a documentary about this. I would love to hear more about this voyage. You know, I think that'd be hilarious. How not to run a military operation. True. Oh boy, that was good, man. That was so good. I think I'm probably gonna watch it later though.